Hey guys, today you're going to be taking notes on surface area of rectangular prisms. And you've done this before, but you were able to work with a net. And so they gave you a picture like on the left here. And you were able to kind of see, okay, those are rectangles, so I can find the area of each of those and then add them together. Well, this year we're going to shift and we're going to use this formula so that if they give you a picture like on the right, you're able to just kind of plug those values into a formula to find the total and lateral surface area. So make sure you have this sheet in front of you and we're going to take notes. And just like we've done previously, your notes need to match mine by the end of the video. Okay, let's get started. So there are three real parts to our formula here. The first one is a capital P. And when you see a capital P, you've seen that before. It indicates that we are solving for the perimeter. And with this, it really is referring to the perimeter of the base of your figure. So in our picture at the top right, our base is this shaded portion because that's how they indicate the base. If no side is shaded, then you can assume that the base is the side that it is sitting on or that would be touching the ground. Okay, so for that, our perimeter of the base would be that bottom portion. The H means the height of the prism. So that is the distance between the two bases. Distance between the two bases. And just to go back to perimeter, just so we know this, to find the perimeter, you add all sides of the base. Okay, so that's the first part. Because these two letters are next to each other, you know that that indicates multiplication. So you would find those two values, multiply them together. Then we look at this right side. 2 is a constant. It stays as a 2. It does not change. The capital B refers to the area of the base. Area of the base. And we multiply it by 2 because we have two bases in this figure. Okay, so that's our formula. We're going to do some practice with it in these notes next and then in class tomorrow. But right now you have the basic understanding of the parts, and I'm good with that. There are two kinds of surface area that you will be finding. The first is lateral, and you can kind of think about, they'll talk about the lateral side of an animal, things like that. And lateral surface area means that you would only be finding the sides. So only the sides, and if you want to remind yourself, all caps off to the side, no bases. So to do that, you would just multiply perimeter times the height, just the first portion of our formula. And if that's lateral, then total surface area, you can understand that that would be all sides and the bases, which would be our normal full formula there. Okay, so before I move on, make sure you have all these different pieces labeled. Think through them. You can kind of look at this example and see if you understand which pieces would be pulled. Okay, now let's look at some examples. So there's kind of this chart that can help you organize your thoughts before this really just becomes muscle memory in your brain and you're just able to do this naturally. So we're going to draw our base. That's the first column of our table. And it's going to be a rectangle. But remember what I said, none of these sides are shaded. So I can assume that the base would be where the rectangular prism is seated, which means it would be 5 by 10 on the base. Okay? Then we find P, the perimeter of the base, And we add all of our sides, so 5 plus 10 plus 5 plus 10. And when I add those, I get 30 centimeters. And then my height between these two would be 2 centimeters, because remember the height is the distance between the two bases. So that would be the 2 centimeter measurement there. Then we have the capital B, which does not just mean pick a base measurement. Remember, it's area of the base. So we find area by doing length times width. And our base area would be 50 centimeters squared. Okay? So if I wanted to find the lateral surface area, I would do 30 times 2, and that would give me 60 centimeters squared for my lateral surface area. And for my total, I would take that 60 and then just add 2 times 50, the area of the base, to give me 160 centimeters squared for my total surface area. Okay, make sure you have all these parts labeled, and then we're going to do example 2. If you want to try example 2 on your own, feel free to pause the video and then check back with me. But I'm going to go ahead and start doing example 2. You will have plenty of practice in class tomorrow if you just want to follow along with me. Alright, so we know our base is this bottom portion because it's shaded. So it's another rectangle, and this time it's 6 by 3. So the perimeter would be 3 plus 6 plus 3 plus 6, giving me 18. The height between the two bases would be 4 centimeters. The area of the base would be 3 times 6, or 18 centimeters squared. Okay, remember this is our lateral surface area. So if it says how much wrapping paper would we need to go around the sides but leave the tops and bottom open, then that would be lateral. And I would just multiply 18 by 4, perimeter times height, and that gives me 72 centimeters squared. But if it asks, I want to cover this entire rectangular prism with wrapping paper, or whatever it might be, maybe we're painting it, then I would take that 72 and add 2 times 16, which would be 72 plus 32, or 104 centimeters squared. So that is how you find the lateral and total surface area of rectangular prisms. We're going to do some guided practice with this in class tomorrow, and you will have independent practice to submit. So you'll have plenty of times for questions. Just make sure your notes match these, and have a great rest of your day. Bye.